Hear this reading of ancient wisdom from the book of Isaiah. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. These will be his royal titles: Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting God, the Prince of Peace. His ever-expanding, peaceful government will never end. He will rule with perfect fairness and justice from a throne of his father David. He will bring true justice and peace to all the nations of the world. This is going to happen because the God of heaven has dedicated to do it.
Good morning, everyone. I am Pastor Jackson, also known as PJ, and it is a pleasure to have all of you with us today. Our message is Bridge Over Troubled Waters. From listening to your celebrations and concerns, I pray that this message will speak to your hearts. 700 years before the birth of Jesus the Christ, or Jesus the Anointed One, the prophet Isaiah prophesied, foretold not only Jesus's birth, but also his legacy. In other words, during a time of deep gloom and despair in the lived experiences of the Israelites, especially in Jerusalem, Isaiah predicted and celebrated Jesus's birth and the reason for that birth. And he did this a whole 700 years before it happened. Can you even imagine responding to the current human condition with a promise, a vision of hope and peace for the future, describing exactly what that promise will be like? I am sure we can imagine Isaiah's thoughts and feelings as he waited for this prophecy to come to fruition. I'm sure we can also imagine the public's response to this prophecy for not happening in Isaiah's lifetime or their lifetimes. This is exactly what we are seeking to do on the Cameron Today for Tomorrow team, as we seek to envision, prophesy, foretell the purpose and legacy of our future. And if that vision seems easily doable in our lifetime, or if it feels like we can do it on our own, then it's not big enough. It is not God-sized or divinely induced dream. And so Isaiah prophesied, "For unto us a child is born, for unto us a son is given, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, the Everlasting Parent, the Prince of Peace." When I think about or reflect upon this prophecy, I hear the coming or the promise of someone I can talk to when I am amid the debilitating abysses of life. I hear someone I can trust with my deepest secrets and vulnerabilities without judgment when I am feeling guilt, shame, and doubt. When I ponder this prophecy, I see the promise of someone who will help me to take the various pieces or fragments of my life and make meaning out of them. I see the promise of someone who will journey with me, stick by my side, have my back, be that one safe space where I don't have to look over my shoulders, my tried and true, or as the young people say, my ride or die, or my road dog. I hear the coming of a badass, someone who makes the impossible appear easy, someone who supports me in making the impossible not only possible, but will support me in making the impossible real, a fact, a complete success. But even more importantly, I envision someone or something that will encourage me and lift me up during all the moments when it seems or feels like it's just not going to happen. My Cameron family, when I think about this prophecy, I see the coming of someone who will rise up in their power, authority, and privileges to fight for me, lay their lives on the line to protect me, to ensure that I get what I deserve, to be treated well, to be treated equally, fairly, and with justice. In short, my friends, I see a bridge over troubled waters. I see a bridge that makes troubled waters feel peaceful. For me, my first bridge over troubled waters was my mother, Deacon Lula L. Axon. When it came to the care and protection of her two daughters, she was fierce. In fact, she was so good at being that bridge over troubled waters till I had no idea I needed one. And that bridge was so abundant and plentiful and seemingly available and accessible with such ease till I remember sharing that bridge with others in their times of need. In fact, when I was in college, I wrote checks for students who could not afford their books. I wrote checks to them to pay for their books because my bridge appeared so plentiful. I had no idea the hard work that was going into making that bridge available to me. Obviously, Cameron, you know I had to adjust that throughout the years of, of being in college, but that is how confident I was in my bridge. She centered me in her world of love. She stood in the gap for us. She not only responded to our needs or provided all that we needed for happiness and fulfillment, she anticipated our needs and our wants, and that always blew my mind. My bridge over troubled and peaceful waters was always there until she wasn't on May 13th, 2008. My Cameron family, how old were you when you discovered your first bridge over troubled waters? Who or what was that bridge? Was it a parent, a sibling, a friend, a teacher or a counselor, your partner or your spouse, or a system of some type? If you don't mind, as you answer those questions, please share them in the chat. And then as you think about who or what has been your bridge over troubled waters, think about to whom or what are you being a bridge over troubled waters? There are many people and things created and called to be bridges over troubled waters, such as literal bridges like the Golden Gate Bridge or the Infinity Bridge in Dubai, or the many bridges that are in the city of New York. There are many things called to be bridges, such as insurances of all kinds, health, auto, home, life, such as the government, the church, the medical, legal, and food industries, And it is the most amazing, sometimes unnoticeable experience when they do that which they are created to do, such as the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, which has endured earthquakes, lead paint, and multiple crowds of cars since 1937, such as the support of the government when 9 people were killed in the Charleston AME church. Those people, those families and that community will never forget the President of the United States putting himself on the line to sing Amazing Grace for them, even though he did not consider himself the best singer in the world. Such as when the government stepped in to escort and secure the safety of a little girl named Ruby Bridges as she bravely desegregated the William Frantz Elementary School in New Orleans. And there are so many other examples of when the bridges work as they are designed to do. And if you know of some of those examples, please add them in the chat. As good as it can be when the bridges are working, it is equally as devastating when they don't work as they should or as they promise that they will, such as the failure of the canal levees and flood walls in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, such as the abuse of power from persons such as Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein, such as the Tuskegee syphilis medical experiment and the cells that were stolen from Henrietta Lacks for cancer research, such as the government's failure to protect us from the invisible but very real pandemic that we now know well as COVID-19. Such as the irony of insurance companies who sell themselves as being our bridge over troubled waters, yet they do all that they can to cover as little as possible. The truth is, life is relentless, Cameron. And it keeps coming every second, every minute, every hour for 365 days a year. It comes with good and it comes with bad. It comes with extraordinary and it comes with the average. So it is absolutely necessary for each of us to have at least one bridge over troubled waters in our lives. Who or what is that bridge for you right now? It can be a family member or a friend. It can be a pet family like Maisie or Bruno, or it can be paid professionals or systems such as the Centis counseling system or recovery groups. You know, I have to say for myself that I am blessed to have an amazing partner to share this most wonderful and complicated life with. Yet, as I approach a very significant birthday after this year of COVID and other dehumanizing pandemics, I am and will consider paid professional bridges to support me in reflecting on the waters of the last 10 years that I have served in the United Methodist Church as a pastor, but not only as a pastor, but a pastor who just happens to be Black, queer, and woman. I will seek out these bridges that I might emerge from them healthy and whole and operating at my most optimum potential. I pray that you will do this as well, because Just as life is relentless, it is also truth that bridges will succeed many times and they will fail many times. And so the questions are, what do we learn from the successes and from the failures? What is our process for forgiveness and reconciliation in the times of failure? And how do we get back up and begin again? And for the times that we are the bridges who fail, what is our process of ownership and apology? What is our process for noticing and expressing gratitude for the bridges that succeed over and over again? My friends, in this holiday season, particularly in this year of 2020, the year of COVID-19, the year of doing almost everything virtually, the year without seeing each other face to face, the year without being able to hug each other. Let us intentionally take a moment to acknowledge our bridges, those persons or things that journey with us, accompany us in this life of joys and complexities, whoever and whatever they are. Let us take the time to say thank you and let them know how much we appreciate them. Let us pause now to remember and acknowledge the bridge that was promised to us in the prophecy of Isaiah.
Like a bridge.